Hello students, in this video now we will discuss about the reaction intermediates. Okay, so we know very well that chemical reaction means nothing but breaking of the old bonds. Look here, first of all we have to know what is a chemical reaction. In a chemical reaction, what happens? Old bonds breaking of the old bonds. Old bond breaks. Okay, na? Old bonds break, and new bonds will be formed. New bonds will form. So that reaction is known as the chemical reaction. Okay, na? Old bonds break and new bonds will form. So, and we know very well that organic compounds are covalent bonds, and the bond electron pairs may distribute among the bonded atoms evenly or unevenly. Okay, na? If the bonded atoms have the same electron negativity, then the electron pair lie exactly in the middle position. For example, carbon and hydrogen have almost equal electronegativity. As a result, the bond electron pair in them lies in the middle position. And we know very well that in organic compounds, bonds are present in between the carbon atoms also. No? We know very well that carbon atoms have the same electronegativity, so in them also bond electron pair lies exactly in the middle position. Yeah, electronegativity of the carbon is 2.5 and electronegativity of hydrogen is 2.1. Okay, so here and look here, for example, this carbon of the organic compound may attach to the more electronegative atoms like oxygen and halogens and what is that nitrogen also. Okay, now like this. Look here, in amines, carbon is attached to the more electronegative nitrogen, whereas in alcohols, the carbon is attached to the more electronegative oxygen. In the alkyl halides, the carbon is attached to the more electronegative uh, halogen atoms. Halogen atoms means fluorine. We know halogen. What are halogens? Fluorine, chlorine, bromine, iodine are known as the halogens. So, in these cases, look here, in the alcohols, in the amines, as well as in the alkyl halides, the electron pair do not lie exactly in the middle position. The bond electron pair lies somewhat close to the more electronegative atom like oxygen, nitrogen, and halogen. Okay, so this is the point we have to remember. And look here. So, in the chemical reactions, what happens means already we have learned that old bonds will break and new bonds will form. No, so this bond breaking may take place in different ways. For example, look here. If A is the covalent bond, then this bond may break in two different ways. One is the homolytic breakage, homolytic fission. We call breaking a bond is also as the fission. Okay, na fission, bond fission. And the next one is the heterolytic bond fission. One is the homolytic bond fission, and the second one is the heterolytic bond fission. Okay, Homo means same. This is means breaking. So in this type of breakers, what happens? The electron pair, the bond breaks in a such a way that the bond electron of the bond pair is distributed among the bonded atoms equally. So as a result, what happens? We get the one electron with A atom and one A species and another electron with the B species. Now this A and B species are known as the free radicals because they have the odd number of electrons and they don't have charge on them. So here we get free radicals. So this is one type of the breakage. And in another type of breakage, that is the heterolytic cleavage, what happens? The bond break in a such a way that the electron pair, bond electron pair moves towards only one atom and the remaining atom will lose its electron. As a result, it gets the positive charge. For example, assume that here A is dragging the bond electron pair towards it. As a result, this A gets negative charge and B gets the positive charge. Okay. So here this is known as the heterolytic cleavage. Cleavage. So here we get the one cation and one anion. Okay. So like that. In the bond fission, we get the free radicals as well as the cations as well as the anions. And now these cations, anions, and free radicals formed in the bond breaking are very active. Okay, na? And such species are known as the reaction intermediates. Such species which are formed due to the bond breaking are called as the reaction intermediates. Okay, so these reaction intermediates have intermediate life and they can be separated by suitable means. Okay, na? So, and now we go for what are the types of reaction intermediates. Okay, na? Here reaction intermediates are of many types. First one of them is the carbocation. Second one of them is the carbanion. Look here. If the carbon has the positive charge, we call it as the carbocation. And if the carbon bears negative charge, we call it as the carbanion. If carbon possesses the odd number of electrons, then we call it as the what is that? Free radical. Odd number of electron species. Odd number electron species here is called as the free radical. Carbene is unsaturated electron with 6 number electrons. Okay, and benzene, nitrine, these are also species with incomplete octet. But this carbene, benzene, and nitrine do not possess any charge on them. Look here, nitrine has a structure like this, and we will discuss about these all these reaction intermediates clearly. Okay, na? So this is carbene. Okay, na? Carbene has only 6 electrons around it. And nitrine also has the 6 electrons only around it. So this is nitrine. So this is carbene. Okay. And benzene is very much similar to the benzene, but here one extra bond is there in between two carbon, that is the triple bond. So as it is having one triple bond, we call it as the benzene. So these are the different types of reaction intermediates. Okay, na? Now first of all we go for the carbocations. Again, these carbocations are of many types. First one of them is the alkyl carbocation, and second one of them is the vinyl carbocation, and third one of them is the phenyl methyl carbocations. Fourth one is the allyl carbocation, and fifth one is the yes. Now the fifth one is the aromatic carbocations, and sixth one is the cyclopropyl methyl carbocation. Cyclopropyl methyl carbocation. Now we discuss about the characteristics of the carbocation except the vinyl carbocation. In a vinyl carbocation, the carbon, look here, in vinyl carbocation, the carbon that has positive charge is sp hybridized, sp2 hybridized carbon, sp2 hybridized carbon. Okay na? But whereas in other alkyl carbocation, that sp3 hybridized carbon. That means look here, in vinyl carbocation, sp2 hybridized carbon loses one hydrogen atom. Okay na? And now after losing that one, it changes into the sp hybridized carbon. sp hybridized carbon. Okay na? And whereas other alkyl carbocations, from the sp3 carbocation lose one hydrogen atom, as a result they form sp2 hybridized carbon. So that is the difference between these vinyl carbocation and the other carbocations. Okay na? So but here whatever the characteristics we are going to discuss about are related to the carbocations except the vinyl carbocations. Okay now. So here the vinyl carbocation is a sp hybridized carbon. Okay. Now we go for the characteristics. Look here, the sp2 hybridized carbocation has sp2 hybridization, and it has one empty p orbital. Okay na? Empty p orbital. And the shape of the carbocation is a trigonal planar. Look here. And the triphenyl methyl carbocation has the propeller shape. And except this because in triphenyl methyl, 3 phenyl groups are very large, bulky groups. So that's why it has the propeller shape. It cannot be accommodated in one plane. Okay na? Because phenyl groups are bulky groups. Okay. Now look here. The hybridization of the carbocation, now we can count like this: S, sp1, sp2. So here the hybridization is sp2 hybridization. sp2 hybridization. Now the structure is the planar triangle structure. We can write the planar triangle structure like this. And every carbocation has one empty p orbital with it. Empty p orbital with it. Okay. So this is the shape of the trigonal what is that, carbocation. Now carbocation we can consider as charged electrophile, because due to the presence of empty p orbital, it can drag the what is that, electrons from the other species, so that's why carbocations act as the electrophile. And in carbocations all electrons are paired, so that's why it has the diamagnetic character. And carbocations are formed due to the, already I have discussed that carbocations are formed due to the heterocyclic bond fission. And As this carbocation is a electrophile, it reacts with the nucleophiles. In the carbocation, there are 6 electrons in the outermost orbit of carbocationic carbon. Hence, its octet is incomplete. Okay, na? So all the 6 electrons are paired. So that's why it acts as a Lewis acid. It acts as a Lewis acid. Okay, na? Carbocations act as a Lewis acid. That means they act as the electrophiles. Now, alkyl carbocations can be classified into different categories depending on the positive charge on which it is there. Okay, na? First one of them is the methyl carbo. Carbocations are again many types. What are they means? Okay, carbocations are many types. Here it is not there, but I write. Okay. First one of them is the alkyl carbocations. First one of them is the alkyl carbocations. So look, carbocations are many types. First one of them is the alkyl carbocation. Next one comes the we have discussed it, no? Okay, vinyl carbocation. Third one is the aromatic carbocations. Fourth one is the phenyl methyl carbocations. Fifth one is the cyclopropyl methyl carbocations. And sixth one is the vinyl carbocations. Okay, na? So here now we are going to discuss about the alkyl carbocations. Alkyl carbocations are of again 4 types. First one is the methyl carbocation. Second one of them is the primary carbocation. Third one is the secondary carbocation. Fourth one is the tertiary alkyl carbocation. Okay, na? Now we go for the stability of the alkyl carbocations. Look at in methyl carbocation, positive charge is present only on the carbon, and this carbon is not attached to any alkyl group. This carbon in methyl carbocation is attached to only 3 hydrogen atoms. Whereas in the primary alkyl carbocation, the carbon bearing positive charge is attached to the 1 alkyl group. And in the secondary carbocation, 2 alkyl groups are attached to the carbon, positively charged carbon. And in the tertiary carbocations, 3 alkyl groups are attached to the positively charged carbon. And we know very well that alkyl group R is a plus I group, plus I inductive effect group. It pushes the electron pairs. So look here. Here in a primary alkyl carbocation, only 1 alkyl group is there. In secondary alkyl carbocation, 2 alkyl groups push the electrons towards to the positive charge. And in tertiary alkyl carbocations, 3 alkyl groups are there to push the electron pairs towards to the positive charge. So that's why when the negative charge that is approaching to the carbocation increases, then the stability also increases. So in this sense, we can say that tertiary carbocations are more stable than the secondary carbocations, and secondary carbocation is more stable than the primary carbocation, which in turn is more stable than the methyl carbocation. So that is the stability order. This is the stability order. Okay. And the stability order can be also explained by using the hyperconjugation also. Okay, na? In methyl carbocation, there is no alpha CH bond. So in methyl carbocation, hyperconjugation is not possible. And in primary alkyl carbocation, that means in ethyl carbocation, we have the 4 structures. 4 resonance structures, and in the secondary carbocations we have the 7 resonance structures. That means isopropyl carbocation. And in the tertiary carbocation, that means tertiary butyl carbocation, has these 7 resonance structures according to the hyperconjugation. So, when the number of resonance structures increases, stability also increases. So, like that, by using the hyperconjugation as well as the inductive effect, we can explain the stability order of the alkyl carbocations. Uh, if alkyl carbo, one more important point we have to remember that if alpha atom with respect to carbocation carbon has one or more than one lone pair electrons, then the lone pair of electrons strongly stabilizes a carbocation due to the delocalization. Alkoxy and amino groups are important substituents for such type of carbocations. For example, look here. Here, this is a amino carbocation. Okay, this is amino carbocation. Okay, so besides this primary carbocation, amine group is there. An amine on the nitrogen of the amine, we have one lone electron pair. So this lone electron pair stabilizes the positive charge. So this primary carbocation, even though it is a primary carbocation, it is more stable than the tertiary carbocation due to the presence of this lone electron pair. In the similar way, you have, see this. Sorry, here the wrong thing is written. Instead of this one, I have write here CH2 plus. Okay, na. So look here. This is ethereal carbocation. Okay, na. So this is more stable alkoxy carbocation. This alkoxy carbocation is more stable than this tertiary carbocation. This alkoxy carbocation is here is a primary carbocation. Actually, the structure should be written like this. Look here. ROCH2 plus. Okay, right. Now we go for the vinyl carbocation. Up to now we have discussed about the alkyl carbocation. Now we discuss about the vinyl carbocation. In vinyl carbocation, the positive charge is present on the sp hybridized. Look here, this carbon is sp hybridized carbon. So, and we know very well that sp hybridized carbon is more electronegative than the sp2 and sp3 hybridized carbons. No, okay. Look here. So, as this carbon is sp hybridized carbon, it is more electronegative. So it is very difficult for the positive charge to present on the more electronegative carbon. No? So that's why vinyl carbocation is least stable among all the carbocations. Vinyl carbocation is the least stable carbocation among all the carbocations. Now we go for the allyl carbocation. Here, the carbon which is in the alpha position to a double bond is known as the allyl carbon. The carbon which is present in the alpha position to a double bond is known as the allyl carbon. And if the positive charge is present on that allyl carbon, then we call it as the allyl carbocation. So as the alkyl carbocations, we can classify the allyl carbocations are also into 3 types. First one of them is the primary allyl carbocation. Second one is the secondary allyl carbocation, and the third one is the tertiary allyl carbocation. And look here, simple primary allyl carbocation is more stable than the vinyl carbocation. Allyl carbocation is more stable than the alkyl carbocation. In alkyl carbocation, only inductive effect and hyperconjugation, these two phenomena stabilize the carbocation. Whereas in the allyl carbocation, resonance is also possible, mesomerism is also possible. So that's why allyl carbocations are more stable than the alkyl carbocations. And among the allyl carbocations, tertiary allyl carbocations are more stable. These are more stable than the secondary allyl carbocations, and which are inter more stable than the primary allyl carbocations. Now we discuss about the phenyl methyl carbocations. So look at the benzyl carbocation. Benzyl carbocation is simply phenyl methyl carbocation. Okay, na? We can call it as the phenyl and we can call it as the methyl. So benzyl carbocation. This is benzyl carbocation, and this is also known as phenyl methyl carbocation. And this one is known as the diphenyl methyl carbocation. Okay, na? Two phenyl groups are there, and this one is known as the triphenyl methyl carbocation. And phenyl methyl carbocations are more stable than the allyl carbocations. Because in phenyl methyl carbocations, the number of resonance structures, the number of the resonance structures are more than the resonance structures of the allyl carbocations. And among the phenyl methyl carbocations, the stability increases with the increase in the resonance structures. For example, in the triphenyl methyl carbocation, the number of the resonance structures is 10. The number of the resonance structures is here 10. And in the diphenyl methyl carbocations, the number of resonance structures is 7. And in the phenyl or methyl phenyl carbocation, 4 resonance structures are possible. So, as the number of resonance structures in the triphenyl methyl carbocation is very high, it is more stable than the diphenyl methyl carbocation, and diphenyl methyl carbocation is more stable than the benzyl carbocation. Now we go for the aromatic carbocation. Here, if the positive charge is present on the aromatic ring or a carbon of the aromatic ring, then we call it as the aromatic carbocation. Okay, now. And we know very well that atomic compounds are more stable than the simple alkenes, because here in aromatic compounds resonance is possible. Okay, now. And so that's why these aromatic carbocations are more stable than the phenyl methyl carbocations also. Okay, now. And they are so stable that we can get them in the solid form also. For example, tropylium carbocation bromide. Tropylium bromide is available in the form of the yellow color solid. So that's why we can say that aromatic carbocations are more stable than the phenyl methyl carbocations. Now we go for the cyclopropyl methyl carbocations. Here, cyclopropyl methyl carbocations are more stable even than those of the aromatic carbocations. Here, these are very stable, because here these cyclopropyl rings have some bent bonds. Look here, uh, these orbital do not lie exactly on the axis. Okay, na? These are so known as the some bent bonds. Bent bonds. So, in cyclopropyl rings, some bent bonds are there. The special bonds are known as bent bonds. So, they are unstable and they are ready to share their electron density. So, that's why these bent electrons share their electrons with the empty p orbital of the carbocations. As a result, the cyclopropyl carbocations become more stable than the aromatic carbocations. And among all the cyclopropyl methyl carbocations, stability increases with the increase in the number of the cyclopropyl rings. Okay, so that's why here tricyclopropyl methyl carbocation is more stable than the dicyclopropyl carbocation, which in turn is more stable than the cyclopropyl methyl carbocation. Okay, so this is the stability order of the cyclopropyl methyl carbocations. So after discussing all these types of the different carbocations, now let us look all the carbocations at one place and let us understand the stability of order of the carbocations. Okay, now. So among all these types of the carbocations, cyclopropyl methyl carbocations are more stable than the all other carbocations. In simple manner, we can write them as the CPM, cyclopropyl methyl carbocations. And among all these carbocations, vinyl carbocations are least stable carbocations. Vinyl carbocations. And these are alkyl carbocations. This is allyl carbocation. This is aromatic carbocation. These are triphenyl methyl carbocation. So we can write them like this. We can first of all we write the CPM, cyclopropyl methyl carbocation, greater than the aromatic carbocations. Then we write the TPM. Okay, CPM is greater than AR, means AR aromatic, and AR is greater than the TPM. Okay, TPM. I write one sign. Okay, CPM greater than the aromatic. Aromatic is greater than the TPM, and TPM is greater than the allyl, alkyl, allyl, alkyl, and vinyl. So like that we can remember. So we can remember the order like this. CPM is greater than the AR, AR is greater than the TPM, CPM. In between CPM and TPM we have the AR, and after TPM we have the allyl, alkyl, and vinyl. And among the CPM we have tried the three types of the cyclopropyl methyl carbocations. And under aromatic carbocations we have the tropylium carbocation. And among the triphenyl methyl carbocations we have to write the diphenyl. After that we have to write the benzyl carbocations. Okay, na? And in the alkyl carbocations we have the three types of alkyl carbocations: primary, secondary, and tertiary, and methyl. And then after we write the phenyl carbocation. So these are the stability order of the all the different carbocations. Now we get the carbocations. These carbocations are generated in the SN1 reaction, as well as yes, these are generated in the SN1 reactions. Okay, and these are generated in the what is that, electrophilic substitution reactions also. Yes, these carbocations can be generated in SN1 reaction as well as in the E1 reaction, elimination one type of reactions, as well as in the electrophilic addition reaction, EAR reactions. In SN1 reaction, for example, in the alkyl halides, look at this CX bond breaks, and as a result, we get the alkyl carbocation. This is a SN1 reaction. Look here, we get the alkyl carbocations like this. So this is about the SN1 reaction. Okay, now in the elimination reaction, E1 reaction, what happens? For example, in the ethyl chloride, what happens? Um, Look here, when this is treated with the OH minus ions, here hydrogen is abstracted from this one, H plus ion. Sorry. Here, E1 reaction is also very much similar to the nucleophilic substitution, but here, look here. In SN1 reaction, carbocation is generated from the tertiary alkyl halide. No? In the similar way, in the E1 reaction also, the alkyl carbocation is generated from the tertiary alkyl halide. Okay, now. But if this undergoes substitution, then we call it the SN1 reaction. If it is undergoes elimination, we call it as the E1 reaction. So, look at the first step is same for the SN1 reaction as well as for the E1 reaction. First step is same for SN1 for as well as for the E1 reaction. So in both these cases, we get the carbocations. Okay, na? And in the electrophilic addition reactions, for example, in the alkenes, electrophilic addition reactions. In alkenes, for example, look here, ethylene. Whenever undergoes addition with H plus ion, we get ethyl carbocation. So like that, here carbocations are formed in the electrophilic addition reactions. So here we can say that the carbocations are generated in the SN1 reaction as well as in the E1 reaction as well as in the electrophilic addition reaction. So in these three types of reactions, we can observe the formation of the carbocations. Okay, thank you very much for watching this video.